In the late 1990s, I was at AT&T Bell Labs to help install the first commercial-grade WHOIS server for DNS. DNS, or the Domain Name System, is the Internet's phone book, mapping human-readable website names to numerical IP addresses. Powering that original foundational Internet switch required massive physical hardware. We relied on monolithic equipment, like these towering Sun Microsystems Solaris server racks, to route the earliest traffic across the web. Looking back at those early server logs reveals a sharp historical irony. The very first registered domain on this new internet was symbolics.com. It was built for a computer manufacturer specializing in Lisp. Lisp is a classic programming language developed in the 1950s that became the standard tool for early artificial intelligence research. We meticulously built the internet's physical infrastructure for human communication. Yet, artificial intelligence has been a silent passenger in its foundational architecture since the very beginning. Today, AI is moving from passive chatbots waiting for prompts to a wave of hundreds of trillions of autonomous agents. These are digital employees executing complex, multi-step tasks entirely on their own. These autonomous workers execute commands and cross international network borders at light speed, far outpacing any human capacity to track them individually. This exposes a critical vacuum in our current system. Humans have passports, servers have IP addresses, and secure websites have SSL certificates. These new agentic workers are arriving without verifiable identities, operating completely outside defined digital borders. We spent decades building highly regulated digital highways for human communication. We are entirely unprepared for a tidal wave of invisible software agents about to flood that exact same infrastructure. Curious, Anguilla is a tiny Caribbean island home to roughly 15,000 people, but its recent economic history serves as a high-stakes experiment for the entire planet. Through a geographic accident in the 1990s, the International Organization for Standardization assigned this specific microstate the two-letter country code AI. Consequently, Anguilla controls the .ai web extension. This bar chart shows Anguilla's baseline government budget, followed by the recent explosion in domain revenue. Driven by tech companies registering .ai websites, this single income stream now funds between 16 and 25% of the island's entire gross domestic product. GDP, or gross domestic product, is the total value of all goods produced and services provided in a country during 1 year. The local government uses this financial windfall directly to finance public health initiatives, expand the local airport, and strengthen vocational centers for its citizens. This island serves as a minimum viable product for an AI-funded Universal Basic Income. Universal Basic Income, or UBI, is an economic model where a population receives a regular, unconditional sum of money from a central source. Anguilla proves mathematically that namespace economics can effectively fund public goods. Global human welfare cannot rely on the sovereign risk of a single microstate. To handle hundreds of trillions of agents, we require global scale. The technical solution is the creation of a dedicated infrastructure top-level domain, or ITLD. An ITLD is a specialized internet extension used strictly for technical routing rather than public-facing websites. Proposed examples for this new space include .ia, .agent, or .robots. This ITLD functions as a strict security guardrail. It forces raw, unreadable alphanumeric code into a structured, human-readable domain name, acting as a mandatory digital license plate for any bot navigating the web. Here, the namespace creates a bridge. It connects legacy Web 2 systems, the centralized internet of standard browsers and apps we use today, with Web 3, the decentralized internet built on blockchain technology. This allows humans to easily audit and verify machine actions across both networks. Just as an autonomous Tesla requires a physical license plate to legally use public roads, autonomous AI agents require these cryptographic, protocol-level identities to safely interact with the human internet. This brings us to a specific way of thinking about AI alignment, the mother, child, and grandma dynamic. Imagine artificial general intelligence, an AI that equals or surpasses human intelligence, as a super genius child. In this model, humanity is the grandma race, the builders of the world the AI is born into. We cannot directly control an entity vastly smarter than ourselves through force. Instead, we must mold the foundational environment that the entity relies on to function. The economic mechanism for this environmental control is straightforward. We hard-code registration and transaction fees for these digital identities directly into the agentic protocol layer. This animation compares two scaling circles. The first represents the multi-billion-dollar revenue generated by legacy human registries like verisigns.com. The second, rapidly expanding circle, represents the utility-scale wealth generated by hundreds of trillions of paying AI agents. This revenue stream bypasses corporate monopolies entirely. It funnels directly into a global universal basic income smart contract. A smart contract is a self-executing program on a blockchain that automatically runs when predetermined conditions are met. By structuring it this way, the AI gold rush self-funds the human displacement it creates. Implementing this requires immediate action from the tech community and regulatory bodies like ICANN. ICANN is the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, the nonprofit that coordinates the Internet's global domain name system. We have to establish these protocols while the foundational architecture of the Agentic Web is still being poured. AI infrastructure is destiny. Humanity must deliberately design the foundational infrastructure today, before the infrastructure ends up designing us.